Uh, Not sure if there was any frost this morning, but it was pretty cold. But when the sun comes out a bit, it can be quite nice, even when it's a bit cold. But yeah, so yeah, I'll just see if anyone else shows up and keep the chat going. And we're talking about what was I talking about? I was talking about how I don't really fit in, and I don't do what society does. Don't really care for like all the shit. Don't go out partying. I don't go out drinking. I don't watch football. I don't do any of that shit. At times I felt like an outsider and just kind of learned to just embrace it and just yeah. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that I don't fit in. I do my own thing, and I don't feel pressured to be something that I'm not. I don't feel pressured to take part in things I don't want to be part of. I don't feel pressured to go drink alcohol or anything like that. I'm somebody that does my own thing. And some people won't like that because you're not like them and they think that's weird or something. Well, so be it. I embrace being weird. If people want to think me as weird, then whatever. Anyway, thank you for the like, whoever that is. But yeah, I do my own thing, and I'm not going to be influenced by society. If I want to do something, I'll do it. But oftentimes people get into groups and then they end up getting caught up in dramas and whatever nonsense. I'm like, no, I'm good. But yeah, you'll probably like have a lot less stress in your life if you do that, because it could be quite stressful getting involved in people's dramas and nonsense like that, you know? Like, who wants to, get involved in these kind of things? Because it's just putting stuff in your head, and it's just, but I just want to live a peaceful life where I'm trying to keep my cortisol down. I want to meditate and things like that, and just because meditation can help lower, your cortisol baseline levels, especially if you do it regularly. And there's like a compound, I believe, where the more you do it, the more benefits you get from it. You got to just stick at it, really. So that's what I'd say to people, that because you might not get much benefit right away, but they found that over a 6-month period that cortisol levels can drop by 25%, which is like a quarter. So that's quite a lot. So that can really benefit your health. Could be good for like your immune system and helping with like growth and repair and things like that, really. Helping you to have better recovery from your workouts. It's all good stuff, if you want to make sure that you're able to recover properly, and you know what I mean. So yeah, I've just been feeling pretty good, just actually been recovering pretty well. I think maybe the meditation's been helping with that, actually. I'll do like a few minutes each day, most days, and I do some bit of meditation, just focus on breathing and focus on different parts of the body. And that can help to switch on that parasympathetic nervous system to help lower your cortisol. The thing is that the other day I was a bit stressed one night, and I just so I went and just did a few minutes on the meditation, and I feel like it helped a little bit. Helped to just calm me down a bit. Just put myself into that state where I'm just just calm the nervous system down. So I do think there is a beneficial effect to it. And because they say that stress is like one of the biggest killers out there, So we really want to try and learn to mitigate it so that things are not going to cause as much stress. We're going to be more resilient to different stressors, if you will. It's not going to lead to like having chronic stress if you can, try to learn to balance it. Try and do things like meditation, mindfulness practices. Some people do things like mindful yoga as a way to deal with these sort of things, and that we have some kind of what's the word, like regimen or whatever, to be able to like kind of reduce that stress. So yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Anyway, I've got 2 people watching, 1 like. Thank you guys. Hopefully some more people are going to show up. So let me know if you're watching, people. So I'm live every day. So I need to try and get some long form content out again. I just haven't really got around to doing that. I've been mainly prioritizing shorts. I put out a few yesterday. I think I put out about 4 or 5 shorts yesterday. And been putting out a lot of that stuff. I mean, just simple to do. I'll just film my workout things, and that's just kind of simple. Just film that, put it out. I just put a little edit on it, and then just put it out, and then use it. It gets roughly about 1,000 views. Depends. I mean, it's like it goes up and down sometimes, but I had one that got 4.3k likes the other day, so 4.3k views with 98 likes on it. So some of the ones where I'm quite impressive, it can get quite a lot of views. So it's just about kind of putting out these little videos and just showing what I'm capable of, and maybe like in motivating some people to get into fitness, because I can show things that are like different exercises that people can do that like work out different body parts and things like that. It's still a lot of it's stuff that people can just do at home, or they can do with some minimal equipment like pull-up bars and things like that. Hello, Andrea, welcome back. So it's all about encouraging people to get into it, not finding any excuses. Oh, I haven't got a gym or something like that, or I don't want to pay for a gym, or I'm scared to go to the gym. We can use bits of equipment and do home workouts. There really isn't any excuses. The good thing about home workouts is there's no resistance. As in, like, with the gym, it's like you have to actually go out your way to get there. But if you can work out at home, you don't have to, like, move from where you are. You can just do your workout where you are right there and then. So I think that's what we need to kind of, like, do, is sort of try and kind of sort of like sort of do that, like kind of work on say like home home workouts, basically doing things like push-ups, squats, crunches, and then you could do outdoor workouts, like you could do pull-ups, dips, rows, and then you could do some isolation stuff like body weight bicep curls, body weight tricep extensions. So it's like there's not really like any excuse, really. All this stuff can be done for free, and it doesn't have to take all day as well. There are ways to do this without it taking all day. For example, you can just do like say like a few mini workouts where you just do a few push-ups, follow it up by a few squats, and then you just do a couple of your circuits of that. And later on, you could do some other exercises. What that does is then you can train your whole body. You don't have to do it all in one go. You can just do a few minutes, 2-3 times a day. Those like what we call mini workouts. Just doing it that way. Whenever you get a break, you do a little workout. You know, it's that simple. You don't have to do anything too intense. You just, as long as you're stimulating the muscles and you're working them, you know, with a certain intensity, then they're going to grow. You can build muscles. Or if you just want to like get fitter, things like burpees are good as like general conditioning. So there's ways of like training without it having to take all day. A lot of people just end up spending too long in the gym, I think. And that could be quite off-putting for people when they're told that someone spends 2-3 hours at the gym every day. That's a lot of time investment. Truth is, you can get a good workout in 30-40 minutes maybe if you're quite efficient with things. You don't need to be spending all day there, because most of the time that people spend in the gym is just waiting between sets. Not everyone's got time for that. You're just going to take ages doing things that way, because your set might last, let's say, less than a minute, but then, hello, is this your day of change? I don't like it saying your last, I don't know, just anyway, hello Caden, welcome in, how you doing? So just saying, like, it doesn't have to take all day. A lot of people have this idea that it's workout take all day and whatever, and there is ways of doing it quicker, like with antagonist supersets. For example, doing push-ups and rolls in this, like a back-to-back, or doing push-ups and squats or something. I don't know, something where you allow one body part to recover while working another body part. You don't have to. Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I'm glad you're doing good. Like I said, you can work one body part and then while the other body part is recovering. That's how you can make your workouts quicker. You don't have to wait 2-3 minutes between each set. You can squeeze more into a shorter amount of time doing it that way. So it's just about being efficient, and like you still want to work out intensely, but I think they found that you can get similar muscle growth but reduce your workout time quite significantly doing that. And it's also good for cardio as well, because you're keeping your heart rate elevated doing it that way. So yeah. Whereas if, say, you're working out and then you're like, say, do a set of something, and then you're having to wait 2-3 minutes between each set, then it's like you're not really so you sort of like giving your body time to your heart rate to go back down, but by keeping it elevated, it's going to be better for like cardiovascular endurance as well. So yeah, stretching is good. But I try to do like some mobility stuff. I've been trying to do like the Cossack squats, and they give a good stretch on the inner thighs. Hope everyone's doing well anyway, because it can be a good way to like progress on to doing things like the splits, if you can get quite good with getting into that kind of stance. Another exercise is called the back bridge. Some people also call it the crab, but that's another one that people can try and do to improve flexibility, the mobility in their back. But if you're talking about just stretching in terms of like just doing sort of like basic kind of stretches, like just to kind of warm up first, because it can be a bit bad if you're dancing's can actually be a good exercise if you do it with enough intensity. Depends on what you're doing really, but yeah. yeah, it's just people should find what they enjoy doing. So for some people it might be dancing, for some people it might be skateboarding even, or playing sports, you know, whatever it might be. There's something that I think there's something for everybody. So I don't think there's any excuse to just be sat around all day. That's kind of boring to me, that not moving your body around. There's a fun way to move your body, right? Playing sports or going swimming or climbing up a wall or something, I don't know. There is ways that everybody could exercise, but not everyone has to be lifting heavy weights or running marathons, you know. There's fun ways to move your body and get fit. You don't have to do things extreme, but it's like you'll get most of your health benefits from just doing basic stuff. You need to go extreme. And in fact, if you go too hard with exercise, it can actually be counter to your health and actually end up stressing your heart out, and you could end up getting a heart attack or immunocompromised and things like that from chronically stressing your system out. So it is important that we prioritize recovery and resting times, so that way we're not constantly taxing our body. Also, you don't want to run too much and just like on hard surfaces and wearing your joints. So some people end up, I think that happened with David Goggins, and I think because he just did it too much. I think that it's good that, you know, he's motivated people, and a lot of people have, you know, like been inspired by that. But at the same time, it might be going too far in some cases. Like if you're getting to a point where, I remember he shown his foot after running all those miles. Unless that was somebody else, I can't remember. I think it was him. And you saw his foot looked horrible after running all those miles. So it's like it can take a toll on your body if you're not recovering enough. You know, where you can get all these like blisters and all sorts of shit, you know. So it's just about kind of, like jogging's a good one, yeah. But you just have to remember that more isn't always better. There's a certain point of like diminishing returns, and we have to just just remember that. Otherwise, you know, we can end up getting ourselves in trouble. But anyway, just hope everyone's well. But yeah, I think we just have to know like what our body is capable of and be like, but not go beyond that though. There's a fine line between doing what your body's capable of and just going too far and just breaking it down. Like we need to like make ourselves more resilient, but not end up destroying our bodies. It's like there's people out there that saying exercise is bad for you, but that's when you're talking about extremes. When people like David Goggins, for example, and extreme bodybuilders where they're using steroids and things like that to put on unnatural amounts of muscle, that's where things get unhealthy. But there's actually health benefits to gaining a certain amount of muscle naturally, because you know it can like help to keep you fit as you're older and things like that. And yeah, like it's because your muscle can get weaker as you get older. If, for example, like training your fast twitch muscle fibers are good for like preventing falls. So we're saying now, what are the main cause of death and also like morbidity in old age is falls. And one of the main reasons would be that people trip and fall, right? And you can just like, when you trip and then you just like kind of stop yourself from falling. But if you don't have enough of those fast twitch muscle fibers, then you might not be able to stop yourself from falling. And as you're older, it can become quite dangerous, and your bones naturally get weaker, and actually building muscles actually helps to strengthen those bones as well. So to prevent that, if it does happen, but yeah, just having those, like having a lot of, fast twitch muscle fibers is crucial. But if you can't even, there could be quite a quick downhill thing, because if you can't exercise, then you get older, struggling to exercise, then you're no longer going to be getting the health benefits from exercise, and then it's going to be this like unraveling of your health quite quickly as you become more and more immobile and just like weaker and weaker, and that's something that can happen once people get to like their 80s, 90s, or whatever, and especially if they've had an accident and they've struggled to like recover from that, and they've stayed very weak and sometimes even bedridden, because they get to an age where getting back to where they were, it becomes almost impossible, because even if they try to inject them with steroids to build their muscles strength back up, it oftentimes unfortunately doesn't really do much. Some people are not going to be able to, because they just don't have the it's not going to respond to it. They lose that effect as they get older. So yeah, it can become very difficult to regain mobility after like an accident. So exercising is very important when you're young. A lot of people think, oh well, I don't have to worry when I'm young, but it's actually when you're young that you should really be taking care of your health, because you could be causing irreparable damage to your health by not taking care of it when you're young. It's a very kind of irresponsible attitude to have about your health, is that, oh, I'll just, leave it for now. I don't need to worry about it, because I'll leave it until I'm older, and then I'll worry about it. But by then it could be already too late. It would kind of be like someone saying, oh, I'll drink alcohol now and it's okay. I'll wait until I'm older and I can just sort it out then, and maybe I'll just get a liver transplant or something. I mean, it's just a very irresponsible thing to be doing. I actually watched a video last night on the how people gradually decline on with like liver disease to like liver failure, and you got a thing called fatty liver disease, where eventually the liver stops functioning. You go past the point in time where the liver just completely fails, and then once you're at that point, then it's like it's game over. So you'd either need a liver transplant or that's it. So it's just it's pretty horrendous, the stuff that can happen at the end, where it's this, it's like a lot of these illnesses that people end up, kind of succumbing to, and they just they could have been avoided a lot of the time, if they just took care of themselves. This is something I was saying, whether if people should actually be, charged for, like, say, if they need healthcare, why should it be everybody else's responsibility when they got themselves into that problem by doing things like alcohol or doing reckless things? Like, they had an accident where they fell off something, but they were just being really stupid about it. Why is it that everybody else should have to pay for that? Is this whole kind of thing of like, this is sort of like socialism that I would not agree with, in that like it's everybody else's responsibility to save you. It's not. This is where I'd agree with the more kind of like right wing on that. Like, I think there's certain times where it's your responsibility. You need to fix your own problems. You need to, or just prevent problems from happening, and that it's not everyone else's problem to bail you out. So that's what I kind of see it as, like, where I would be kind of like have a bit more of like a right wing attitude on. It's not everybody's responsibility to bail you out if you've gotten yourself into your own problems. We have to just take responsibility for our own health. And of course, there's things that happen out of our control. I think that you should be able to get something for that, but it's like maybe the healthcare system should be like something where people, I don't know, like people should be basically like, maybe there should be a thing where, I don't know how it works, but it's just like people should be charged more for like if they say need something doing, and people should be charged less if they say like they don't like you know what I mean. So I'm trying to think like how would things work, like, 'cause I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair that people who are responsible, they should have to pay for everybody else. It would kind of be like, say, if someone was to like, you know, drop out of university or whatever, or they just failed their course, and then expect that society should bail, like that they should bail them out for that. You know, there should be. It's like, well, you've took that chance. It's your responsibility, is what I'm saying. You took that gamble, and oftentimes maybe they passed it, but maybe they just didn't care enough, and they just ended up failing it at the last minute. Like, you shouldn't be getting into something you know you can't, that you don't know for certain you can like really pass it or whatever. You should. I mean, if you was even able to get on that course, I'm pretty sure you should be able to pass it. But if you don't, then that's your own problem. So that's the thing. Because I remember there was this whole argument about whether they should be forgiven for like student debt or something. It's just, so I think in America or something, it's just like, I really don't like things like that. I mean, like I said, I think that if you get yourself into your own problems, it's your responsibility. No one should be like, have to bail you out for that, you know? Like, if you're, say, it's like where you expect that you do something stupid, like you know, kind of get yourself, you know, hurt or something, and then expect that, you know, that you just get that for free, sort of thing. That you get you got to pay into the healthcare, but it's like you didn't probably pay a whole lot into it compared to like how much it cost or something. I don't know. It's just that there's certain people that pay, you know, the same as you, but yet they don't even they haven't had to use the healthcare system. I don't know. It's just that this is where I'd be more kind of on the side of personal responsibility. Like, I think there's a degree of that. Like, there's a lot of people out there with a very kind of like entitled attitude on things, and I've learned over the years that we need to not have like this entitled attitude about life and think that okay, take care, that we should just be bailed out if something goes wrong that's our fault. It's kind of like when the banks got bailed out for something that was their fault, and using taxpayers' money for that. Like, they were taking a gamble on that, and it was entirely their own fault. They shouldn't, because if they were like, you know, not going to make, you know, really risky decisions, then that's what it all came from, was making risky decisions, and it ended up leading to to that. But if the government would have been like, well, we're not going to bail you out for that, maybe they wouldn't have made those decisions in the first place and wouldn't have led to the 2008 financial crash in the first place. Because that really fucked a lot of people up, you know? It's just, yeah, they did that in England too. What was that, Vic? In about the bailouts or something, or what? So talking about the whole 2008 financial crash. So I remember when that whole recession hit and it was like all over the news and it was like tons of banks were shutting down and like, but the thing is that a lot of it were bailed out though, I think. I don't know how many banks shut down, actually. I don't think that many did because, like I said, the government's just bailed it out. Well, they bailed out the central banks anyway and just, but it was all, what my point is that, oh, you lost your 401k. Yeah, I've heard a lot. I think my uncle actually had an endowment mortgage and he got screwed over. In fact, I think after that they actually stopped doing them because it's just a very kind of like, because it's something about it goes on the stock market. It's what they call a deposit only, something like, what is it? A deposit only mortgage. The idea is that they put the deposit into like a stock market, I think, and then they just hope that the value goes up enough to pay off the mortgage or something like that. I'm not 100% sure how it all works, but yeah, predatory home loans too. Yeah, there was that whole thing, wasn't there? Like, I remember there was that, is it PPI scams and shit like that, and payment protection insurance. You know about that whole thing? Yeah, there was a lot of like predatory stuff around that time. Like home brokers were like really big around that time. Like people were just in a lot of debt, and they were just desperate. It's just really corrupt. But like I said, in England, it's like I said, a lot of banks were bailed out by the government. So what I'm saying is that the government was responsible for it. They just didn't have to, do all that. You might say, oh well, if they hadn't bailed them out, then the whole system would have completely collapsed. But like I said, if there was no bailouts, then the banks wouldn't have been able to do like risky, dodgy things like that, like doing certain speculation and leading to that happening. Variable undisclosed internet closed. I don't know what that is really, but what I'm saying is that, yeah, my point is that I don't think that be bailed out for something that's entirely their own fault. Like, for example, when people have, say, like, illnesses that are entirely their own fault, they should be the ones to deal with the consequences of that. Hi, Colour Your Life, how you doing? Now, you could argue that things like alcoholism isn't entirely their own fault, and it depends on what kind of people they get around, but I don't know, it's one of those arguments where I think that there's certain things, like, for example, when you get yourself into some accident and it was entirely your own fault, you be bailed out for that. If you can't afford to pay for them, people expect that they can just get whatever operation for free. I don't know, I just think that, like, it's kind of fucked. I don't know. The diabetes and heart congestion, oftentimes it's their own fault that these things happen with like a bad diet and stuff like that. You might say, oh, but some people struggle to have a good diet. Well, it's like, I think for a lot of people, they just don't really care. It's all like gluttony and greed in a lot of cases. Of course, I understand some people are going to struggle with, depending on the conditions and stuff, but we're talking about if you don't have any like pre-existing health condition, then the body's not naturally meant to be carrying 40, 50% body fat. It just isn't, That is not necessary. It's bad for you. It's, in fact, in the 1970s, I think there was some like picture of like people on a beach. It was literally like 1,000 people on a beach, and none of them were overweight. Literally none of them. They were all in pretty good shape. Every single one of them. So when people are saying, oh, well, but maybe it's genetic, well, explain that then. Has genetics somehow completely changed in just a couple of generations? Bull fucking shit. It's like they just deny reality. It's funny how they'll try and cherry pick science, but then it's like they don't actually they don't have a clue about how science actually works. You don't just completely change your genetics in a couple of decades or so. You know, it's just ridiculous. It doesn't work like that. You know, so obviously there's a problem with the food supply and a lot of addictive food. I understand that. And there needs to be some, there needs to be something done about that. So, but as a consumer, we just need to stop buying these things. If we just didn't buy them, then we wouldn't get the cravings to eat them as much. I was talking with my mum about this, how if you don't buy the cake, then you're going to be less inclined to eat it, you know, because then you would have to go out and buy it. So when you get the cravings for something, but then it's not there, then you're not going to probably go out and buy it. Instead, you could have something there as a replacement that's healthier. Just eat that instead. So, Darth Vader, RFK's on it. What do you mean? RFK Jr. Oh yeah, apparently he's got on some like probiotic thing or something. And apparently he doesn't have as much of that Dalek thing anymore. So I noticed that he doesn't quite have as RFK Jr. It seems to have subsided, so maybe it's helped him, because I was talking about the effects of a good gut microbiome and like improved brain health. I don't know who that is, but some benefit for people in intoxicants that their sin is greater than their benefit. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, so that's what it's saying about like, I take it that means like that. Yeah, it might help you lower your inhibitions and stuff, but then the detriment is a lot worse. But the thing is, like I said, if you need alcohol to feel confident and all that, then I think you have deeper issues that you need to solve, because something ain't right there. If you ain't someone that's a naturally confident person, then that's an issue that you need to fix. And drinking alcohol isn't the way to do that, unfortunately, because it's just I think it's a cop-out, to be honest. I realise a lot of people just are a bunch of cop-outs. They do things that just fix it in that moment. Quick fixes, instant gratification, instead of trying to work on fixing these deeper issues. They go to the easy way out, you know? So it's just like, yeah, it's kind of lame, really, isn't it? But that's society for you, you know? It's just society will find it. It's like, for example, if you don't want to pursue someone anymore, but instead of telling them, hey, I'm not really feeling this, I think we should just like go our separate ways, then they'll just ghost you instead. You know, people do that, right? They'll just pretend you don't even exist anymore, not say anything, and then you could try and message them and be like, what's going on? And then you get nothing. That's what people do. They're afraid of, maybe because they're afraid of confrontation or whatever, but it's like, it's all about them. It's all about me. Instead of just being honest and be like, you know what, this ain't working. Because then you're like going to overthink and be like, well, what is going on here? Why have they just gone quiet? And some people just do that some people just like to do that as well. They like to just mess with people. They just like to have all these options and then just decide to ghost someone. And then maybe 3 months later, they might just randomly get back in touch with you. You know? Fuck these people, you know? Satan only wants to cause between you animosity and hatred through intoxicants and gambling, and you from the remembrance of Alan from prayer. So will you not desist? I mean, I'm not a religious person, but I don't need religion to like say that, kind of alcohol is not something that we should really be really be drinking so much of. But it's just I think the problem is the reasons why people do it is like, it's not because they like the taste or because whatever, but it's to like, oftentimes it could be to drown sorrows or to give them confidence that they wouldn't have otherwise, or to just feel good. So literally people are that depressed that they need alcohol just to feel good. Again, you have issues, and alcohol is just a way to try and suppress it, but it's still there. You wake up in the morning, you have a hangover or whatever. You either have a hangover, or you just feel like probably going to feel low, because it's actually a depressant. It's actually a pro-depressant. So it's like people will actually do it to feel better in that moment, but then in the long run, probably make you feel worse and worse. This is where the dependency comes for a lot of people, because they need it just to feel like life is worth living, instead of dealing with these deep-rooted problems that they have. They would just go to the crutch to deal with it, just like, kind of quickly, but then with unintended consequences in the long run of becoming addicted. But sometimes addiction it's like, a lot of times it comes from that feeling of euphoria and like, but you can't get that naturally, then it's like you have to work on that. Of course, there's people out there that feel the need to like have antidepressants and things like that to feel better, but having tons and tons of alcohol is just going to make life just like worse. It's just you're just going to end up, it's like when people get on weed and stuff like that. All these things are just you can judge it on human nature. Yeah, I suppose it's just the human condition. It's like, oftentimes it's not even human nature at this point. It's like, it's conditioned by society. It's like things like peer pressure. That can also be a reason why a lot of people end up getting into these things, is that they feel pressured into it, that they want to do it, but they get into it so much that they feel the need to do more and more to try and fit in or whatever. And before they know it, they end up being addicted. So I don't feel the need to fit in with people. Like, a small part of me wishes I did, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm glad I don't, because, I'm able to be independent of that. I'm able to be independent of people's validation and whatever else. Though I do struggle at times, but I don't need to go out and feel like I have to be around a ton of different people all the time for that. It's just we have to just kind of, you know what I mean? That's well, so if you like, I can send you more stuff on this discussion. Okay. I hope everyone's doing well today anyway. This is a shame to see so many people are sick and not living their best life. Like, for example, like most people when they become an adult, they'll never be able to like sprint anymore. A lot of them, they would gas out in no time. They just don't have the like they couldn't run fast. They couldn't keep that pace up for very long. Like they get winded. Like they couldn't even run a mile probably. They just yeah. But you know what I mean? Yeah, what's everybody up to then? You're welcome. Thank you for the 6 likes, everybody. Anyway, all right, just gotta get across here. All right, let's go. So, like I was saying before about exercising now to have a better life when you're older. It's like instead of being unwell. Some people see it as like your life insurance policy, kind of like how you would invest now to have a good retirement. That you would invest in your health right now to have good health when you're old, to still be in good shape and be still fit. Like there's guys out there that are like jacked and they're like 80 years old. It is possible to be that if you take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, then I've seen pictures where they would like compare like side by side. You'll have people of the exact same age. One of them is kept fit and they look way younger for their age. And then someone else who just looks old for their age. And they're like obese and they're like just, they just don't take care of themselves. Like they're already like in a mobility scooter or using a Zimmer frame that like in their 60s or something, or even younger. Whereas you'll get someone who's 80 years old, jacked, healthy, they're running, miles every day, let's say, and they're staying healthy. They're, you know what I mean? So it's important to be mindful of that if you really want to get yourself to that point. People have this attitude of live fast, die young, but that kind of attitude is just going to lead to suffering, So they're just going to sacrifice the next however many decades of their life where they're going to be not in the best health. But instead of doing the right thing now, you just feel better for the rest of your life. However, the harm it does to the brain, gut, liver, and other organs is much more than outweighs the benefit it has for the kidneys. How it got benefits for the kidneys? But yeah, I remember there was people saying, if you just have 1 glass of wine a day, that's good for you, apparently. I don't think there's really any evidence of that, though, is there? Now, some might argue it's because of the resveratrol, but there's actually very little resveratrol in red wine. Not enough to really have like a statistically significant effect. There's actually controversial, it's like not proven to really necessarily work that well as resveratrol, because I remember it was David Sinclair was talking about it a while ago and how to improve the sirtuins and which is I think it's like an enzyme or something like, I'm not sure, or something like that, some kind of signaling molecule or something like that in your body, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But it's like something that like signals anti-aging pathways or something. And they were saying using things like I think they talked about, what was it? NAD plus or nicotinamide adenosine triphosphate. So, hang on a sec. Nicotinamide adenosine diphosphate, I think it was called. Yeah, NAD, nicotinamide adenosine diphosphate. But there's not really any proof, I don't think, that it actually works. There's like NMN, which is nicotinamide mononucleotide. That's the one that's said to be like the bioavailable form. But I don't think they find that it really works. I just think that it's, I don't know. There's people that say it does. There's people like Greg Doucette that's promoting it, and it's like, does it really have that big of an effect? I don't know. Some of it could be placebo effect. Because we could be suggested that like something's going to give us more energy, but then some people are saying that it might give you more energy, but it might not help with longevity though. It might just help to boost. I've heard it supposedly can boost VO2 max. That it can help you to like be more efficient with like your workouts and stuff. But I don't know. But there is things that you can do to help improve cardiovascular endurance by things like beetroot and things like that. These nitric oxide boosters. These are said to like have a positive effect on nitric oxide production. I don't know if anyone's ever tried running quite fast and they start like humming almost, like they start kind of hum on the exhale. That's something that I've noticed that I've done before, where I'd be like humming, and as a way to try and make oxygen more efficient. But it's said to be able to help lower blood pressure by improving efficiency of like oxygen. So you don't actually, apparently there's less demand on oxygen. You don't need to keep on, I don't know how it all works. It might have to do with like oxygen and CO2 and things like that, where apparently you don't need to like, I don't know about it, but it's just, but basically it's said to help improve oxygen efficiency, helping oxygenate all of your tissues and stuff, helping oxygen get into the cell. So it might be that less demands on the heart and stuff like that. So it might not be that it increases VO2 max, but rather, well, maybe like indirectly, but anyway, I'll get going, guys. See you all later.